How you doing? This is the Life and Boxing Show, where we talk about life,
Boxing,
and perseverance.
perseverance, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Terrence.
No, I'm gonna let you start it off.
All right. So basically, for those that didn't know, my name's Caesar Montes. Um, I grew up in Garden City, Kansas. I've been in currently I live in Colorado Springs. I've been here about 11 years or so.
I didn't know you was from Kansas.
Yeah, Garden City, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, the reason I ended up in Colorado Springs was because my wife
Right.
pulled me over here. You know what I mean? We were dating. We were doing that long distance.
Wait, she was out there in Kansas too?
No, she's actually from California.
Got you.
From LA.
From my home.
From your hometown. So she's out of California, but she moved out here when she was 10 years old.
I see.
So when we met, basically I was living in Denver. Then I went back to Garden City.
Right.
And so we were already dating, but we were having that long distance relationship where I'd come on the weekend and see her, go on dates and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So finally, I popped the question and we got married. And
right. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. And I ended up over here, and it's been 11 years, bro, since I've been here, man. And I love it here, man.
Right.
I really do. You might introduce, well, not introducing yourself, but telling the people a little bit about
Let's see. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
LA.
Yeah, LA. I miss it all the time.
Gotta love Cali, bro.
Yeah, I had a good life out there in LA. Right before I left LA, I was running a recording studio, Echo Sound Recordings. A whole lot of artists came in there. As a matter of fact, do you know the movie NWA?
I do.
So do you know when Ice Cube left the group? That's where he came to record, to Echo Sound Recordings.
What?
Yeah, he did his first 3 albums at the studio. I just
awesome.
managed it. I didn't own it or nothing, but
yeah,
I worked there for a lot of years. And
how was that, bro? Meeting different people like that,
So
superstars, even till this day.
Yeah, man, I had a good time. A lot of people that used to come in was like a lot of death row artists.
Yeah.
Let's see, Daz and Corrupt from Dog Pound.
Okay.
From DPG.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Let's see here. Redman came down there a couple times.
Nice.
You had man, there was so many artists. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, I love that group.
Too Short. Too Short did that Short Dogs in the House album there. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Creeping on the Come Up, and I think a couple other albums. But yeah, man, it was beautiful, man. I had my run.
That's awesome. You know, the first hip hop artist I ever listened to was Too Short.
Is that right?
Yeah, bro. When I was a kid.
The very first album.
Yeah, and but I think what really got me into hip hop back then was speaking of Bone Thugs and Harmony. I don't know if you remember Crossroads from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I do.
I love that song, and that song there just made me love hip hop so much.
I guess so. I believe one of those guys from Bone Thugs was coming in here and getting trained from Terry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but yeah.
That's awesome. So that's what got me started with like listening to hip hop and stuff, man. But one thing I was wondering, because my favorite hip hop artist is Tupac. Did you ever meet Tupac, bro?
So this is the funniest story. So I met Tupac, but it wasn't at a recording studio. There used to be this club called the Shiznit. On the back of Snoop Dogg's first album, they got a song called the Shiznit.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what the club was called. So I'm in there with a couple of my partners, man, and I feel somebody tapping on my shoulder. I turn around, it's Pac.
What?
No way. Funniest story, man. I'm like, oh, Pac, what's up? He's like, oh, man. He said, man, you got a pen, man? Because he was trying to get this girl number. So he needed a pen, and I didn't have a pen for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't. See, so when I started working at the studio, he had already did his albums before I came there.
Yeah.
But when I met him was before I even worked at the studio. So it was just crazy, man. Like, yeah.
That's awesome, bro. To be able to be around those type of people, like Tupac, literally changed the whole generation. You know what I mean?
No, he did.
He was a poet, man. He touched me a lot. Believe it or not, I mean, this is a little personal. It might be like, man, you soft, you know? But like, two artists that I actually shed a tear for when they passed away.
Yeah.
One was Tupac.
Okay.
And the other one was Selena.
Okay, all
Hey,
right.
I used to love
I
Selena
feel
too.
that.
You know,
No,
when I was a kid,
she was a great
I used to have a
artist.
crush on her when I was a kid.
Oh,
Sorry, babe. I know you're gonna watch this interview. And you might be like, "What the heck?"
oh, you're
Right?
gonna be in trouble
Yeah, I'm gonna
tonight.
be in trouble tonight. But I used to love that artist too, Selena, and
Yeah.
I feel like they both passed away so young, man, and they were such big
Well,
superstars. You know,
you know what? Something that you just said that made me think about this. You said that they affected you in a positive way,
100%.
and that's crazy because that's how I look at boxing and that's how I look at the
Nice,
gym. You know
nice.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I think like when we're attracted to something, it's because it's the way it it makes us feel.
Yeah,
Whether it's a person or a thing, or it could be a person, place, a thing. You know
yep.
what I mean?
Hmm.
But that's how I feel when I'm in here. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. No, definitely, and I agree, bro. And I think the cool thing about like sports
Mhm.
and music, it brings people from different backgrounds together. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
but believe it or not, man, I had seen Terrence in here for so many years because
Right.
he's been coming here longer than I have. You know, and I've been coming here like 7, 8 years, and I don't know how many years you've been here. Probably
Man,
like what, 10, 11, somewhere under
probably
12,
so, man.
somewhere around
It
there,
was a
right?
long time ago
It's
when
been
I
a long
met
time
Mike,
ago.
Coach Mike. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so like, I do my thing when I was boxing and whatnot, and I see Terrence, but for whatever reason, we just really never spoke. Not because I didn't
Yeah.
like him or he didn't like me, but we're just always doing our own thing,
Right.
kind of deal, you know. And but this year, out of all the years we've been coming here, this
Right.
year was the very first year where we started speaking to each other more, and I'm thankful to God that
Likewise.
I got to actually talk to Terrence, not meet him because I've met him before, but actually talk to him, actually get to know him, you know, and thank God because if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be here right now, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
Terrence was actually the one with the idea. He said, "Hey, bro, you know we're always talking boxing. You know, we're always having a good time. Why don't we just make a show? You know, why don't we make a little
Right.
podcast?" And so
Yeah, right, right.
thanks to Terrence for that, man. Because if it wasn't for Terrence, I've always had that idea, but I've never pushed through.
Well,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
the reason that I wanted to do it was because we get into some real serious talks, man.
We
When we
do.
come in here, we're everyday people, man. We
Yep.
go to work. We
Mhm.
have good days. We have uncomfortable
We
days.
do.
I don't call them bad days because all things work together for the good. I love
Hundred
the Lord.
percent. 100%.
But through all those trials and tribulations and just living life on a daily, to being able to come into the gym
Yeah.
and whether it's you call it blowing off steam or just trying to refocus or whatever, it really helps, man. We have so many important talks with you, myself,
Yeah,
and
we
other
do.
brothers and sisters in the gym.
Yeah, we do, man.
And it's just fascinating how when we get together and talk, how problems that we thought were big problems when we came in the gym
Mm-hmm.
seem to become so small when we
Once you're
left
in
the
the
gym.
yeah, 100%, bro.
And
100%.
so that
Yeah.
that's a big thing, man. I just wanted our show to be able to reach out to people that are going through the same thing that we may be
A
going
hundred
through,
percent, man.
to try to
100%.
help this situation or try to just encourage them, or like
Yeah.
we say, to persevere
Yeah.
through whatever issues they have.
Yeah. Exactly. And I also want to add that for those people that maybe are just sitting at home that don't have a hobby, or maybe you do have a hobby but you don't want to go out there and try it out. Like maybe you box at home, you hit the bag at home, but you're like, nah, I don't want to go to a boxing gym. It's too expensive, or they're just gonna want me to get beat up. Whatever the case might be, get out there, get out there and meet people. You'll be surprised that how good people are. I'm
Right.
not saying everyone's great people, but you will come to meet people that will have the same
Right.
interests as you. And people that you maybe wouldn't try to speak to on a regular basis. But once you're there, you have so much in common. There's no other
Right.
option. You guys are gonna talk to each other, and once you talk to each other, then boom, you're gonna have another friend. And
Yeah.
like I said, me and Terrence, thank God, because a lot of the bad days I've had, and like you said, it's not so
Yeah.
much bad days, because any day that
Yeah.
we're breathing, I think is a good day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that have it so much worse, man,
Yes.
that are laying in their deathbed right now, man.
Right.
And all prayers to everyone out there, man.
Yeah.
I pray to God that whatever you're going through, if you're going through a bad, tough time, I pray that God helps you get through, because I know God's helped me get through, and God's put the right people in my
Right.
life, like Terrence, that's even those small conversations, the small words, like, hey, bro, don't stress out, you'll be all right.
Right.
Just that right there, man, just makes such a difference. So Yeah, I'm just thankful to God for that, man.
Yeah, and just stay positive. Whatever you're going through, it's gonna work out. All things
Stay
work out
positive.
okay.
Yes, sir.
You made it this far, so He's gonna keep bringing you further. So
100%.
whatever you're going through, just pray about it and put it in God's hands and
Yes,
ask
sir.
for guidance and ask Him that He orders your steps. And you're gonna be all right.
Yes, sir.
But yeah,
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Proud to be a part of this with you, man.
Yeah.
And
Without a
here
doubt.
shortly, we're gonna bring in a special guest, and I hope you guys keep staying tuned to our podcast, our show. And yeah, man. Anything you want to say, Terrence?
Yeah, this is a very special guest we have coming up next. So
We do.
just stay tuned, and we'll be back with you all in just a short moment. All right, introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and how you ended up in the Springs.
Well, my name is Terry Buterbaugh. I am from Indiana, Pennsylvania, actually, which is about 45 minutes from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came here because I was in the Army and I got out here.
Awesome.
All right.
So I want to speak a little bit about how me and Terrence ended up in old school boxing. If you don't mind starting, Terrence, let us know how you ended up with Mr. Terry over here.
No problem. So first of all, I was working. I used to work at the Bally's out in Colorado Springs, and I met Coach Mike Stafford. He was bringing in Adrian to train, and Rashi and I think Robert was there at that time, Robert Easter Jr. But anyway, I was working with Coach Mike. He had me doing, hired me as a strength coach for some of the guys, and I was looking for a gym, and he was like, "Yeah, you got to go down to old school boxing," and he's like, "That's what we train out of." So I ended up coming down here, and that's how I met Coach Terry. And man, that was years ago. Like I don't know how many years ago that was, but
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been a blessing coming here. Like
sure, man.
saved my life a lot of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the way I ended up in this awesome gym, I really love this gym, man. It's a super good vibe. But the way I ended up here was I actually went to a concert next door.
At the Black Sheep?
At the Black Sheep, yeah. My wife likes listening to I think it's like reggae rock or whatever. And me personally, I didn't know much of the genre back then. But so we ended up going, and believe it or not, I ended up getting in a fight, unfortunately.
Right.
And I won. Hey, I
was in the right spot.
Hey, and I won, thank God, right?
Right.
But so I guess my wife back then she was my girlfriend back then, but I guess she realized like, hey, at least he can defend me, right?
Yeah, right.
So when the bouncers kicked me out, I looked outside, and then I see the sign, the old school boxing sign,
right?
And I told my wife, my girlfriend back then, I told my wife, I said, babe, you know what? I think that's my gym right there.
Right,
I'm gonna go to that gym.
Oh, is that how you?
Yeah, man, that's how I ended up
Good
here.
choice.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
When I came into the gym, the first thing I noticed was how welcoming Terry was. Terry, since day one till now, and I'm talking probably back like 6-7 years now. Time flies. It doesn't seem like it, but it does. And Terry's always been a positive, good person. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for me, I didn't end up fighting because I got an injury.
Right.
But Terry cared enough for me to say, hey, bro, as much as I want you to fight, you're not going to fight. I'm not going to be that guy to let you get hurt.
Right.
And on top of that, he told me, but you know what, bro? Even though you can't fight no more, I'll let you help out at the gym. I'll let you be an assistant if you want, if you like. So I'm very thankful to Terry for that. I really am, man, because I've been learning a lot from Terry, from Coach Mike, Mike Montoya.
Right.
And this is home, bro. Like every time I come here, I feel like I'm at home, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That,
when I don't come in, I feel awkward. I don't feel right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I've made this boxing gym part of my life. Yep. Thanks to you. You know what I mean? You really welcome me, man. And this is like they say, what's your life about? Boxing, going to school or whatever. and raising children, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
boxing is always in it. Yeah.
Old school boxing.
Old school boxing.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, that's
Old
the only
school.
way to
Yeah.
do it, man.
Yeah. Oh, so I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Who are some of the fighters that that been into this gym?
Okay, this is where I'm gonna miss a lot of
And
names here.
I know it's a lot of fighters.
when
but
I first opened up the gym, Danny Romero was coming here. He was right before his last fight of his career. He was a former world champion. Stevie Johnson used to come in, spar with me and stuff. Adrian Broner, Mike Alvarado, Robert Easter, Rashi Warren, Gary Russell, Gary Antoine Russell, Gary Allen Russell, Gary Antonio Russell,
All the Russells.
Gary Russell Sr., who's a close
Absolutely.
friend
God
and
bless him.
a really good teacher, you
Right.
know. Sean Porter, Kenny Porter Jr.,
List goes on and on.
Charles Martin. He actually started here.
Another world champ.
Yeah.
Another world champ.
See, I'm gonna
Sean Porter.
I already said him.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm gonna miss names here, like Nico Hernandez. He was here for his last camp. Bunch of other Olympians and
Yeah,
stuff.
I was gonna say some Olympians from down the street.
Bunch of Olympians, bunch of world champions.
Yeah,
That's awesome, bro.
This is the gym.
This is, man.
This is the gym.
You know, like I said, this gym is super welcoming, and we're always hoping to welcome more fighters. You know, if you guys are interested in doing your camps out here, if you're out of state, where can they reach you at, Terry?
They can reach me either on my email address, which is buterbaught at msn.com, or by cell phone, both text or call 719-632-1982.
Awesome.
That's
So,
what's up.
just wondering too, man. So, what got you into boxing? What was the reason that you wanted to open a gym? You know.
What got me into boxing was actually Bruce Lee. I decided I wanted to kickbox, and I started kickboxing. I looked into competing when I got out of the Army, and I didn't want to do MMA. That's pretty much the only way you can do kickboxing steadily.
Yeah.
And so I switched to boxing. I was already sparring with a lot of boxers.
Nice.
And could throw kicks against them, so it was an easy switch.
Yeah. And what made you want to open your own gym?
You know, I was training the box. I quit, and my friend was a pro. He actually quit too, and was trying to find a gym. And we found what was called Jungle Boxing Gym together, and we came here a little bit, and then I heard that they were selling it, and I didn't want it to close, so I bought it.
That's awesome, man. That is so awesome. It's just such a positive thing that you've done for the people around here in the community. You know, I feel like this gym's a blessing, man, for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And I can only vouch for others that's told me the same thing. And you know, everyone always says the vibe in this gym is amazing. And like I said, I'll vouch for that because I love this gym, man. It's just nothing but good vibes. And here we're not trying to get no one hurt. We're just trying to get better and learn. And you have people here that are always having your back and never treat you like you're just a customer. They treat you like family. So keep that in mind if you ever want to come down here, guys.
How long have you had this gym?
Since 2005.
2005.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
18 years.
Yep.
Getting old, bro.
19 this year.
Dang.
Well, this next year, 19.
Man, time flies.
So I want to ask you this, but you've known and met so many different boxers. I was going to ask you, who would you like to meet, dead or alive, boxer? But you know so many. So I'm just going to say, if you could go spend some time with a boxer and just pick his brain about things, who would it be?
You know, that's
and you could. It doesn't have to be one.
That's a crazy question to ask. There's a lot of guys I would love to meet.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of the old time boxers.
Mm-hmm.
Carmen Basilio would have been cool to meet.
Right.
Sugar Ray Robinson would have been cool to meet.
Oh yeah.
I think Arturo Gatti would have been cool.
Oh,
to
yeah,
meet.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
met Mickey Ward, super nice guy. I fought
Mhm.
his nephew.
That's awesome.
I would have liked to meet Arturo Gatti too.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
That's awesome.
I like that. I like that list.
It's a good list, man. That's
Yep.
a good list. Another good question I have for you, man, is see if you could remember. And like you were telling me earlier, man, it's hard saying because I'm always changing my mind. But who's your top 5 fighters all time?
So, top 5 fighters all time aren't necessarily who I feel is the best, and I don't feel there is a best list
Right.
because
Yeah.
different fighters in different times would have
Different
done
eras, yep.
different.
Mhm.
The fighters now have a lot more strength and conditioning stuff,
Yeah,
and you know the scientific end behind them.
Right.
So
Right.
they got a big advantage over those guys, but those guys were harder workers. They were raised in tougher times, so they're
Right.
tougher people.
Well, with that being said, like something that I've always wondered about was like, how is it possible that back in the day they were doing what 15 rounds,
15-round fights
15-round fights
every
yet-
3 days sometimes.
Right.
That's insane.
Right.
Yet they didn't have the same supplements we have now.
Yeah,
Right.
So I could only
it's
imagine.
crazy, right?
It
To
is.
think like that.
Yeah.
What were they doing different? Like
Mhm.
Willie Pep used to defend his title in 15-round fights 3 days a week sometimes.
That's insane.
It's
man.
amazing.
That is insane.
It's amazing.
So I only wonder like how would those fighters be nowadays with all the supplements and extra conditioning and all that stuff that they do now, you know?
Yeah, and yeah,
So you think the diet?
I think that they tough through a lot of stuff though too.
Yeah.
You think the diet might have been different since there wasn't as much fast food places and
Maybe.
stuff like
That's
that?
true
I'd
too,
say-
though. That's true too,
Well,
yeah.
for sure, the diet was obviously different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously boxing was bigger back then,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
more people that wouldn't do it today
Mm.
probably did it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
It's interesting.
It is. It is. Now, when you really think about it, it's super interesting. The different eras of boxing and how boxing has progressed, and like you said, they have all the new technology, the scientific ways to make a fighter stronger, better, more healthier. But it seems like back
Little
then,
ways to edge the drug testing system.
right?
That as well. Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing right now. There's a lot.
But you know what? Here's the catch with that
Yeah.
too. Back in the day, like for instance Barry Bonds, they say, well, he never popped top, but they say he did steroids, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And all these other guys, they proved did steroids. But back in the day, admittedly,
Mm.
like Willie Mays did like speed and stuff,
Right.
Mm.
Right.
and Hank Aaron, all those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't get chastised for it, but these guys
But
did.
yeah, but this
Because they tested at that point, and they didn't test back then.
Yeah.
so there's no
interesting.
telling what they were doing back
So who knows? They might have been using stuff back
Right.
then.
Right.
Probably were using
Yeah.
amphetamines.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's no way to test. There's no way to even.
And they were legally doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody said you couldn't do it.
Right.
They used amphetamines and stuff in World War II,
They did.
in the Vietnam War.
Yeah. They did. I remember reading about that.
You know what I wonder
Yeah.
too is back then there was a lot of like mafia stuff going on. How many fights were fixed?
Oh,
You know what I'm
That's-
saying? That's
Yeah.
another thing I've always wondered. Like,
that's where it started.
I know.
Well, it's crazy because what's his face? Raging Bull.
Oh yeah.
He fixed a fight. He lost, and he said after the fact he would have done it again because that made him get a title.
Wow. Wow. That's insane, man.
That is.
Hey, and going back, Terry, to the fighters that have been here in the past, who was your hardest sparring match? And why? And why as well? Tell me why.
So the hardest sparring I ever had was against a guy named Gary Russell. He was just 119 pound, freaking national champion,
Right.
yeah.
10 times over, Lord knows how many times,
Right.
Yeah.
going to the Olympics. And I sparred with him. The first time I ever sparred with him, I'm like, I'm going to take it easy on him, right?
He
Right.
was smaller.
Because
than
it
you.
was
He's
one
way
last year.
smaller,
He's way
just
smaller
fast.
than
I
Right.
figured he'd be like all the other 119, 120 pounders, and
Right.
hit me fast and it would
Right.
hurt.
Yeah.
He hit me, and I'm like, this little motherfucker, right? I'm gonna hit him. He hit me hard.
Right.
He hit me harder than anybody's ever hit me, man.
Wow, even harder than the heavyweights?
Yeah, he hit me
That's
hard,
insane,
man.
Yeah, but
That's
he
crazy.
used to work out.
Oh
Crazy,
man, that
like-
guy trains his butt off.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
does.
He
I'm
stays
sure,
in the
he's still
gym, man.
fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He
He's-
stays in the gym.
Like he told me, boxing's a lifestyle.
It is.
Boxing's a lifestyle. You gotta eat right, you gotta live right,
Yeah,
you gotta work out right.
yeah.
I think he was injured, right, on his last fight? If
Hey,
I'm not mistaken.
right at the beginning, he blew his arm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I thought he actually still won that fight,
Yeah,
to be honest.
one-handed.
Yeah, that's insane.
One-handed.
Man. That's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let me
Crazy.
ask you this: what fight would you like to see? Who would you like to be matched up in? Like, what's the biggest fight right now that you see? Doesn't matter what weight division. I'm just curious of what fight.
Like
You
a
know-
fantasy fight kind
Yeah,
of?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fantasy fight.
Fantasy fight.
Or not even if it could come. Maybe if it could come true.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
never know.
You
Who
know,
would you like to see?
I really like watching Tank Davis fight.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to watch him and Haney fight.
Yeah.
But I don't think Haney can make that weight anymore.
Yeah.
What is Tank at?
Or
135?
doesn't want to either way.
135.
Yeah.
135.
Yeah. He probably. Yeah, I believe Haney said it's hard to get down. It's hard for him to get down.
I don't think he wants to.
Yeah.
But you think?
Right.
Do you think Tank will eventually go up to 140 to fight him?
He might. I don't know. Tank is small, man.
Yeah.
Tank is small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Tank's a small guy, but for the money, I'm sure that he, just like everybody else, if the money's there, why wouldn't he?
Right.
And I think a fight that could actually happen is Shakur against Tank. They're both at 135.
Yeah, Shakur just moved up too.
Yeah.
So wait, Shakur's
He
at
came up from
140
like
now?
120 something.
Yeah, 125.6 or something. Yeah.
He's a hell of a fighter. He's a
Yeah.
hell of a fighter.
I believe
He's
so
been in
too.
here too.
Oh, that's another guy's
Yeah.
been here. Nice.
Yeah, he has been in here. He came down here with Coach Mike, didn't he? That one.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was sparring with Adrian in here.
Oh, I didn't know he was.
I watched him sparring.
Yeah. I had no idea. It was,
Yeah.
Oh.
What's your most memorable sparring match that you watched without giving details that you can think of?
Oh, that's a good one.
Most memorable sparring match that I've ever watched.
Or just two guys that you used to like to watch spar.
Maybe you were training someone and you're like, okay, I gotta stop for a little bit because I want to watch.
I've
you guys
seen
spar.
so many of those. Like, it's hard to say, man. Like, all those guys that fought each other, I've seen already in here. It's crazy.
That's insane, man. That's crazy.
What do you think is so boxing today, like right now? You got, it seems like a lot of guys are doing a lot of talking, but some won't fight guys. And I've always wondered what you thought about how guys hype up a fight that they will not fight. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how do you think fights should be matched up? Do you think it should be by popularity, or do you think it should be by just literally rankings?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, obviously rankings
Right.
Mhm.
would do it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, if I'm putting on a fight, I want to put butts in the seats.
Right.
I want to sell pay-per-views.
Right.
So the person that's going to sell the most of those obviously are going to get,
The popular guys.
they're going to be the guys that fight.
I see.
True. Yeah.
So, I mean, one more question. I
Go
just
for it,
want
go
to
for it.
ask. So, with that being said, how does someone who's like not the popular guy
Mm-hmm.
make a living out of boxing? How does he become popular? What's a roadmap to that look like?
Well, if the guy that's not popular is just really working through those guys,
Mhm.
I think he can become that guy.
Okay.
I think that's a way to do it, but you obviously have to be likable too,
Right.
Yeah.
in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. Even if it's people hate you.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, look at Floyd. He
Yeah.
made people hate him,
Yeah.
and because of that, he made a lot of money.
Right. Well, and also like the things that you do for others, like even though a lot of people hated Floyd,
Yeah.
I remember on his 24/7s back in the
Yeah.
day on HBO, he'd always be giving out turkeys
Right.
during Thanksgiving. So they're like, well, I might dislike the guy. I'm not speaking for myself, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying like for people. They might dislike the guy and say, man, this guy's cocky as hell.
Yeah.
But then they'd see him giving out turkeys and stuff, and it kind of made you want to support him. Because it's like,
Yep.
well, at least he's getting back to the community. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Like,
Right.
for instance, I like Adrian a lot. I saw the stuff that he did.
Right.
He did a lot for me, Adrian Broner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people hate him because, you know,
Yeah.
he says the wrong things sometimes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. He says the
Yeah.
wrong things a lot of times. But
Yeah.
the guy's a great guy.
Yeah. I can attest to that too. Yeah. And I was talking about that last time. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like, but I have seen him do some really good
I've
things.
seen him
for
do
people,
great
man.
things.
I've seen him take kids' shoes that barely had any, had any soles on their shoes.
Yeah.
He didn't ask. He just said, "Go get them some shoes." And so that's why I respect him. A lot of people don't get to see the background and the back.
The other
know.
side
He
of
grew
the
up in
fighter.
the city. He grew up in the city, you know, and he does watch out for those guys.
No, he does. He does in a good way too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another question that I had, Terry, before we wrap up is, what's your goal as not just a gym owner, but as a boxing trainer? Where do you want to be 10 years from now?
Well, I want to be here, obviously,
Yeah.
doing
Right.
what I do, you know, going as far as I can with it.
Yeah.
A long time ago, a couple years ago, I told Mike Stafford, he told me it was his 8th or 10th world champion. I told him, I'm catching you, Mike. I'm going to catch you. So my goal is to catch Mike Stafford.
That's awesome, man. And I think even me, like as an assistant trainer, I eventually want to get to that point where, I could eventually have a fighter like that too,
Right.
But obviously right now, like for myself, I'm doing as much as I can to help Terry out with just like the kids around here,
Right.
one, and also just learning,
Right.
you always got to have that mindset that you could always learn more and more and more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you have people that have that experience like Terry,
Right.
or like Mike, Coach Mike Montoya, another great coach, man. I learned a lot from Mike
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
When you have those type of people around you, you gotta take advantage of those kind of people.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
good way.
Yeah.
I don't mean in a bad way. Like take advantage and like learn from them. Since they're opening the doors for you, take it, man. You know what I mean? Because you don't know where that could lead you. And like I said before, I'm thankful to Terry because instead of being like, hey man, you're done, you're hurt, there's nothing you can do. You can come just watch, sit there. Nah, Terry say, hey man, you can help out, do mitts, do different things, and try to learn. And that's what I've been doing personally. And I'm really thankful to you, bro. And I wish nothing but the best for you, man. You and your family and the gym, man. I love this gym, and I hope sooner or later we have some world champs, So
they're coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
And I want to thank you too, man. It's been a good ride with you. We've traveled to so many different fights, so many different states together. I just want to say I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. And thank you again for joining in at Old School Boxing. Phone number, you want to give it to them again?
Yeah. So my phone number for the gym and for me personally is 719-632-1982. So you can text or call.
Thank you again for joining us.
Make sure to follow us on IG, the Life and Boxing Show. And I have the links for TikTok as well and YouTube. So please follow us. I really appreciate all the views we've been getting. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us.
We appreciate it.
We really are appreciative.
Appreciate all the love.
But please hit that follow button, guys. That's the way we're gonna start getting more followers and keep bringing content to you guys. So appreciate you guys. Have a great night and stay tuned. Right, Terry?
Peace out.
A lot more coming, baby. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.